welcome back, guys. It has been 2 years, 2 years since the last time we have recorded together. Can you believe that?
2 years.
I
Two
just
years.
went back to the channels to go look, and yeah, last one with the two of us was 2 years ago. That's when we went to Frank's
Damn.
randomly.
How fast that kind of flies by, huh?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I
That's
mean,
so crazy.
we've had a lot, both of us in our life go on. So it's like,
Yeah.
so I mean, I don't
Big
know
time.
if you want to do a little catch up with everybody since you've been
Oh
going
yeah,
on
yeah.
about.
Well, yeah, yeah. I'm a father now. I have a 9-month-old daughter, and she's amazing, and it's a incredible experience. And also too with my wife, and just being like a first time parent is crazy, crazy. But in that whole process, we actually started our own Etsy store with our Instagram. It's called Sense of Being Plug. So we both are fans of the Dragon Ball Z community. We both love Super, GT, Dragon Ball, and Z. And we discovered these TCG cards kind of late in the game. But we actually hit it off. We wanted to actually make something, more out of it. We embraced it by making T-shirts and pins and sweet logo right there, sense of being plugged.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
and and then so we were actually pretty faded that night that we actually we were pretty high. We're like, dude, we should just make some crazy. And then so she come up with like, hey, let's just do something called sense of being plugged. So I'll, pretty much the plug from like the sensu bean and stuff like that.
Mm,
But do we have a bunch of TCG series is on there to where like honestly we're missing about like three booster boxes and we pretty much have the whole run of the TCG
nice,
of like Super, but we have Japanese cards, we have Chinese cards, we have pins that we actually just made up, but we have two T-shirts on there. I actually just picked up some. It's called sheet bubble gums, so it's like a whole lithograph about I think eight. I think it was like 17 inches or actually something smaller though, but it's a whole lithograph and it comes with a little bubble gum.
nice.
Like
Is that
it's
box you had on your Instagram
yeah,
stories?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, I was
yeah.
wondering what that was.
So yeah, so it's almost like a poster, like a little mini poster, and with a little size gum. So I don't know if you guys remember, like back in the day, like those old turtle cards or like the Michael Jackson cards that says like
Yeah,
5 cards, one sticker, and one piece of bubble gum. It
yeah.
was just weird. It was so weird, dude. And then so then we got that today though. But yeah, man. But honestly, I've been great. And hopefully with the sense of being thing, we actually do kick it off. We'll go to cons and we'll do pop-ups. So that's the
Mm.
next adventure. That's the next adventure. But we definitely have a sense of being plug Etsy store. We haven't had our own website. But if you want to go on there, just put on Etsy, just put sense of being plug and you'll see all the TCG on there. So yeah, man. But it's been a great ride. It's been a
Yeah,
definitely like a
that's
great ride.
awesome, man. That's awesome. And you do whatnot too, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we do whatnot. We only done about like 5 or 10 shows. No, actually no,
Mm,
9. Yeah, but that's a good ballpark. But yeah, but we do
mm.
whatnot. We did singles on there. We do like a booster pack, like rips, and that's also fun too. Now imagine getting a
Yeah,
whole booster box, getting influence, getting in front of the whole community, and actually ripping the whole box in front of like some 10 people. It could be from 50 people. It can be from whatever crowd that you guys are watching. Just enjoyable, just like ripping packs and then just seeing if you get a
yeah,
banger for like $2, $3 and getting yourself
yeah.
like a 30 to like a $60 card. That's amazing. So yeah, so we do whatnot. We have Etsy and then we have our Instagram too as well.
That's good, man. Yeah, and I've
Yeah.
hopped on a couple of the shows, man. You're already growing a cool community, dude. You got like a nice little bunch of people in there always see popping in, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So we got the regulars, we got the regulars and I actually know him, but like by name. Like there's a guy named Oscar, like he's in like in New York. And there was like
Damn.
some yeah, there was like some I think Slim Shady or like no, his name was Little Ocean.
Oh,
He
oh
was
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Little Ocean. I think he was like someone like in Missouri, or something like that. But yeah, dude, like I mean, honestly, man, like with the whole Dragon Ball community, I mean, there's it's always a great experience. Always, like just talking about Dragon Ball 24/7. But yeah, man. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so luckily we did have a crowd coming back in, and I mean, it's a great feeling. Yeah.
That's good, man. Especially with the
Hmm.
DBZ community, because I mean that goes back, 80s,
Oh,
I
80s,
believe.
man.
So there's plenty
88,
to go back.
87.
It's like you wouldn't think, but like you have these communities. Like I mean, you go like to Star Wars, Gundam, Transformers, Ninja
Oh, big
Turtle.
time,
All
big
these
time.
all these just fandoms that go back to a long time ago, and they just
Hmm.
have just fans from that far ago, man, like that long ago. So that's what's really cool. You can just jump into this and you're gonna find someone who's been around for a while and they can always
Yeah.
catch you up and let you know. So that's really cool, man. That's
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
really
man.
cool.
Just honestly, it's like a whole culture shock. I mean, a culture
Yeah.
shock from me, yeah, for like well, like how I said, from like the old timers to the new timers to I even have a friend that he's showing his like 9 year old, kid, and he's super just and he's watching like Dragon Ball Z right now. I think he's at the Cell Saga. So now imagine
Oh,
that watching for the first time and you have the whole thing right, like right in front of you. And that's sweet. It's like either the experience of us watching it like on Cartoon Network every
yeah.
Sunday or like every or like every afternoon to now having it on stream and someone could just binge watch the whole thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's crazy.
We're
That's a
spoiled
whole
now.
crazy.
We're
We're
spoiled now,
definitely
dude.
spoiled.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. So
I
we're definitely
remember it would
spoiled.
come on Toonami. And you had to wait till the next
Oh
week
yeah.
for the next episode, and then you had fucking episodes that were like 5, 6, story arcs that were like 5 or 6
Yeah.
episodes long, and you
Yeah.
have to wait a
Yeah.
month just to find out what happened. So, I mean, so
Exactly,
that's
man.
really cool,
Definitely.
man. That's really cool. I know
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate it.
I'm the same way. I can't wait till my daughter gets old enough that I can show her Star Wars that she can actually like process
Yeah.
what it is. So that's gonna be really
Yeah.
cool. That's gonna be cool.
Hell yeah,
So
man. Hell yeah, hell
that's
yeah, hell
good.
yeah.
That's gonna be something we're gonna have to kind of focus a little more on this show of like raising your kid to like the same shit you like.
We'll give you like the blueprint of like the 5 steps to like introduce them to anything nerd,
Yeah,
you know?
how to force your beliefs onto your kid. You don't like
Well,
Star
like
Trek,
have them
you
like,
like
and
Star
then we'll just
Wars.
like, I know, right? And then we'll have them like like strapped to a chair with an eyeball
Yeah,
like this,
Clockwork
you
Orange.
know? Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's cool, man. That's cool. So, how about we get straight onto the topic that
Yeah,
I
dude.
was like, as soon as you sent this to me, as soon as I see this, I was like, we have to make a video. This is
Hmm.
at least for us big news because we've been there for forever since the PS1 days.
Yeah.
Sony dropped big news, teaming up with Konami to remake for the fucking fifth time Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal
Yeah,
Gear Solid 3, probably hands down the best Metal Gear that's out there.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I that was my favorite, I know for sure.
Yeah, three was there, and I would say right along with one, because you had Psycho Mantis, you had Raven, you had Ocelot, and then with all those characters, and
Classic.
then classic, and then I think three was was a prelogue, obviously, of
Mm,
hoping you'll see those characters young,
yeah,
and then especially seeing Ocelot young and him just trying to flip the gun and he like messes up and stuff like that. He like hates himself and shit. So that's
straight
why
up,
like on
that
one.
was probably. I think I liked him more than Snake when we would first play through that, dude. Straight
Yeah,
up.
so seeing that like the historical events or even just seeing fucking Boss, just
Yeah,
seeing Boss and how he became Big Boss, like that's
yeah,
all it was from the part one and from the NES. You heard about it, you heard about how great he was and shit like that. Like now that you were able to
hmm,
play of him or play with him, that's amazing, amazing,
yeah.
amazing,
And
amazing.
I mean, it just sets up the whole saga of Metal Gear, dude. I mean, you can kind of see this as like episode zero
Yeah.
of Naked Snake moving on, and then from there, that's when you progress to like the original Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2, and then
Mm-hmm.
Solid, and then Solid 2, and then now Guns of the Patriots, and so on and so on and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So so can't recall if it was Konami or Sony that actually released the actual statement. Let me bring it up here because I know I sent it to you too. So the first
Mm-hmm.
half of the statement reads here, if I can get this going. Currently, the development team are working together to create an environment where fans can experience and enjoy the Metal Gear series on the latest platforms. We're remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, one of the most beloved installments of Metal Gear series, revealing the origin of story of Snake, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. We're working hard for Metal Gear Solid Delta to be a faithful recreation of the original story and game design, while evolving the gameplay that with stunning visuals and a seamless user experience. So that's the first
Mm-hmm.
half of that statement. We'll get to the second half after. But what so far, what does that kind of like pop into your head? We're recreating Metal Gear Solid 3 with classic this, and then we're gonna
Yeah,
bring in new this.
recreating, I feel like there are gonna I mean, it's like how like The Last of Us for the PlayStation 5.
Mhm.
They build it from the ground up, and that was
Right.
technically either a remake or remaster. Like
Mhm.
I feel like those two words are kind of like in between.
Mhm.
But that word that you said, I feel like that's something that they're gonna include. I feel like instead of a third person, they might have a different angles, or they
Right.
might have a consistent first person. Like you might have to switch it up, and then could actually do that too as
Mhm.
well. So by them recreating, right? Is that what they said? Recreating,
Recreating.
recreating. See, and that's another one that we haven't heard of a video game that okay, we're gonna recreate this. We're gonna recreate Zelda. We're gonna recreate Pokemon.
Right.
Like, well, what is that? What is that? I mean, are you continuing the saga?
Mhm.
Obviously not, because you know, like they're just gonna rebuild, or or like recreating on something that is already existing.
Right.
Um, do you think that's a fancier word for remastered or remake?
See, so when they say recreate, that's the thing. We have to kind of split up between remaster and remake. When you have a remaster, that's kind of like all they're doing is just souping up the visuals. They're taking
Hmm.
what they have and just cleaning it up. Like what was like the very first time they remastered the Metal Gear series, they did what was it? It was
They
called
did
the Legacy
yeah, like
Collection, right?
they like the HD collection for the
Yeah,
PS3, and then for the 360 when they had all three of them. And
yeah,
then you had a DLC content to download VR missions and Metal Gear 1. And
right.
that's pretty much what it
So
was.
so when I hear remaster, that's kind of what I think. You're taking, what's already there and just kind of
Hmm.
polishing it, making it look nicer. Whereas where you have a remake, it's you're taking like the bones of it and then you're just building back up around it. So kind of from the ground up, but you have like these certain things. That's why like when you have the first one, the very first original, you had where it was like it reminded me a lot of like Resident Evil, where you would walk into a new area
Oh yeah.
and you just had the one angle looking down over you. And you can
And
kind of
then
move the
when
camera back and forth. But then
hmm
once they came out with the Legacy Collection HD remakes, it gave you full control of the camera all the way 360.
yeah,
So
yeah, and it was pretty tough on those Resident Evil games too, because it would be one angle and you cut the
mm,
corner and then it'll switch to the only angle. Like it was like it reminded me of like just like of like you're playing through security cameras that
yeah,
are just connected to the wall, and then that's all it is. But yeah, but with Metal Gear Solid, you're actually moving with Snake. You're actually moving with the character, but it's still that top that eagle eye, that
yeah.
top, the
So
top view.
so yeah, so that's kind of where I'm thinking. So like where it was a remaster, they're just kind of polishing it, making it better. So they gave us the full 360 camera, and then they did the remakes where again, in a sense, it was basically the same thing. It was just added stuff to it, and eventually even added,
Hmm.
Ape versus Snake, all these little extra things in there. And then they remade, Metal Gear Solid 2, and they put in the skateboarding missions in there,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
the subsistence.
Right, dude, like that was cool. Like those were remakes, especially, and you mean you can't talk remakes without talking, Metal Gear Solid 1 Twin Snakes.
Oh
That's like the
yeah.
ultimate remake, and as much as the fans have wanted, they will not re-release it because everything between Konami and then Sony, but then also Nintendo. So it's kind of off the board pretty much until Nintendo says,
Hmm.
okay, let's do it. But I mean, when you talk about remakes, like that's like probably the pinnacle of remakes for Metal Gear because you took a game that was on the PS1 and put it on the most recent console, which was the GameCube at the time. And I mean,
Hmm.
there were some parts to that remake that it broke the game. Like very easy example I can think of was the first fight with Ocelot.
Oh yeah, it's
If you
different.
remember in the first one in the original, you had to run around, the area and then kind of line up your shots. Whereas once Twin Snakes came out and they put all the stuff that was all the mechanics and all that from Metal Gear 2, big one being the first person, you just had to kind of stand in
Just
one
wait there.
corner, first
Yeah.
person, and just kind of pop out. So it kind of killed that battle.
Hmm.
So so when I hear that they're recreating Metal Gear Solid 3, I feel like it's a straight they're gonna tear down the whole thing and then redo it. Like,
Yeah, because they're gonna redo it, and then obviously they're just gonna keep the same audio for all the characters.
yeah,
They have to
yeah,
because I don't think they're gonna add any extra dialogue, and unless they have some like deleted scenes type of audio, or like now that they
yeah.
what you could enhance now with like a video. I mean, like a
Oh,
voice
with
recording of
AI,
like
dude.
somebody in an AI, dude. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do something like that for like David Hayter. Because I,
yeah,
I really don't think like if someone that aboard besides I mean like besides Hideo, like they were like, nah, dude, like we're gung ho with Hideo. Like we're not gonna,
yeah.
like
It's
go like to
especially
backstab him and stuff like
yeah, especially David Hayter because they were
that.
pretty tight. So
Yeah.
I can see him not wanting to come back to redo anything new or anything like that.
Hmm.
I have a feeling like that's kind of why he never didn't come back for Phantom Pains. They ended
Oh
up
yeah, no.
using what's his face from Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Uh
Oh, from 21,
24.
24, 24, 21. I think that
Dude,
was like something else.
I'm
Oh
drawing
my god.
100% blank, dude. Kiefer
But
Sutherland.
yeah, but well, when you beat the game, I feel like there was a good reason why. There's a friend of mine
Mm.
too that he hated that game for that same reason because they changed
Yeah,
his voice. But
yeah.
I have my own reasons why. I mean, of the way how I think why they would change his voice, and that's like,
Mm.
I mean, I haven't really researched it if I was right or wrong, but I would want to believe that. Because yeah, so yeah, I would think so, but I don't know. I think they're doing now when it says Metal Gear Solid, right, and it says
Mm.
a snake ear, a snake ear on the bottom, and then it says tactical espionage, something else. What
Uh-huh.
is that triangle?
So that's the Delta symbol.
That's the Delta symbol.
Yeah, so when
Okay.
you think about Delta, you kind of think like usually that's kind of progressing. So obviously, I mean, I'm not an expert in like Greek writing or anything, but like you have alpha, beta, whatever the equivalent for C is, and then you have delta, which would be D. So in my mind, it's kind of like, okay, maybe the original one on
Hmm.
PS2 was the alpha one. Then you have subsistence or substance, one of those. That's gonna
Substance and
be
substance. Yeah.
that's gonna be the beta one. Then you had another remake, that came out on
Hmm.
PS4. So now this being on the PS5, this is gonna be like their ultimate one. This is gonna be their Delta series.
Gotcha,
You
gotcha,
know,
gotcha, gotcha.
it's like in my mind when they add that Delta symbol on there, it's kind of like, okay, this is gonna be like the definitive one. Kind of like how
Hmm.
they have like the definitive Lord of the Rings, and it's like fucking 8 hours long. This is going to
Hmm.
be like the definitive Snake Eater story, and they might add more stuff to it, like kind of things here and there. They might fix
Yeah,
some things, and like
yeah.
I told you, the one thing I just want them to fix is that fucking ladder scene, dude. That's the
But
one
you
thing I
don't like
want
the
them to get
music.
rid
You're
of.
like halfway when you think you're halfway, and like the music just kicks in and shit. Like,
It's
aren't you
it's a
just like,
whole
you
it's a
know
whole
what?
like 10-minute thing. Like I
It's
get it,
pretty
it's
much,
artsy,
bro.
it's cool, it's cool. Like they're showing like, oh, this is what we can do with the hardware, but it's like, God, like that's too long.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
have cut that down by 5 minutes and it still would have been cool. So the other
Hmm.
part of that statement that I want to talk about where it says, you know, what was it that so they're recreating the whole thing. Oh shit, I gotta bring it back up. They're recreating it and they are did I go too far? I went way too far. That's like our chat from like months ago. Um, so they're recreating it and they're adding evolving with gameplay, stunning visuals, and a seamless user experience. So things like that. Like what does that click in your mind? Obviously, stunning visuals, we're right now, it's always gonna be we're at the pinnacle of graphics.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
but like, evolving gameplay and seamless user experience, what does that make you think?
I think I have to see it first because I feel like that sounds like a new iPhone commercial.
Mm,
It says like the new Retina and 10, and, fucking 10 times, the display in HD and glass mirrored image,
mm,
shit like that. It's just like it doesn't bother me, but it does. But like I feel like it's a little like it's just pretty words. It's just really pretty words, or even like when it's like IMAX, or like a digital screening and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a differences and why it's belong in those in that sentence.
mm,
But when I see those visuals, I mean, look at the little trailer that we actually got today. Like when like the bird. is flying, and then the snake, like the serpent or the snake grabs him, and then the crocodile, and then just, oh, dude, the snake looks so good, like just
Yeah,
like the
it's
creases of his
amazing, dude.
eyes.
It's
It's amazing.
amazing.
Those are the visuals that they actually do say, and they do report. So
Mhm.
so I'm just thinking that is it gonna blow me out of the water, just like literally because of the fact that now I'm really happy that they waited for the PS5 to do this.
Mhm.
I would have not. I mean, I would have not been upset if they did it for the PS4 because it did push its limits. But
Mhm.
I'm really happy for something like this that they waited for this console. So yeah, so I'm ready. I'm ready from that statement. But I definitely do want to see more on what they mean about like a pretty much like on that verbiage.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm trying to rack my brain as to what it could mean. Like, honestly, like, okay, evolving gameplay, they're gonna add stuff from the newer Metal Gear series. Like probably like 4 and Phantom Pain with like, because Metal Gear 4 gave us the whole like camouflage system with the
Oh.
suit and everything. So, and
Hmm.
then obviously for Metal Gear 3, that was a big part of it. You would change your camouflage as you would enter new areas to kind of blend in and everything. So I
Hmm.
feel they're probably going to take bits of 4, but possibly in my mind, I think they're going to take bits of 5 of Phantom Pain and turn 3 into kind of an open world, at least to an extent.
I kind of hope not because Phantom Pain it was okay, but I think it was just like too much. Like even with Halo, I still haven't beat the new Halo because
Yeah.
it's just too much. It's too much branching. It's like saying, okay, you have the one this mission, now go out and do the exact same thing 3 times. So
Hmm.
it just comes very saturated. You kind of get bored of it. Like, okay, well, I kind of just want to continue the story instead of trying to take out 3 posts. That it might make sense and why I'm doing it.
Hmm.
And I feel like Phantom Pain was in that category, and I know Hideo was really he loved GTA.
Hmm.
That was his background. That was his almost like his blueprint saying, okay, I want to make something like GTA, but you can't compare anything to GTA to anything else
Yeah.
that what he already gave the fans about, and then just switching it up. That's just weird. That's just like
Hmm.
it's like saying it's like giving my mom Pac-Man back in the 70s and then giving her Pac-Man first person.
Oh
You'd be like,
shit.
is this a maze? Am I just going straight? And then you're just like dot dot, and all you see is just nothing. You're just like,
Ghost.
it looks like if you're just walking in those paths,
Uh,
right? So I think it messes up the gamer on what you came to love about it. Almost like saying like, why mess it up if it's something that good? You
yeah.
know. So I see where you're going with those lines, and I actually can possibly actually do see that happen, but I really hope
Mhm.
that they don't do an open world. That's the only that's probably the only thing why I mean that I do like that Hideo is not in it
Mhm.
because I know that he would change that up just like that because he thought that Phantom Pain was amazing.
Yeah.
And I think 4 was better. But yeah, so I'm really hoping not. I feel like just a little open world just to kind of explore just a little bit, but give me the path.
Mhm.
Give me the path to actually know where I'm going from A to B, but get me lost a little bit, but nothing
Mhm.
too crazy.
Right. So is there something
Hmm.
that you would want to see for sure? Like, okay, well, okay, we don't want open world, but maybe we want like, okay, just enough space to do vehicles, or do we want, maybe a
Hmm.
wider selection of weapons or maybe new character skins? Like, is there
I
something
would
that you
say,
would throw in
yeah,
there?
I would say character skins like for DLCs is always a
Mhm.
plus. I'm a sucker for character skins. I mean, like, hey, for the new Call of Duty, they just added Shredder. I'm a huge Turtle fan, so I had to get it. I mean,
Uh,
I can't physically see the character myself, but people could see me as Shredder, so I'm like,
uh,
hey, why not? Um, Vehicles, leave it out.
okay.
I don't leave it out. I don't because I feel like even when a game is like that and when they add vehicles that they're not enhanced, that's like playing Project Gotham to Need for Speed to Forza. You're gonna play all those games and you'll be like, damn, I like the control handling on this one, and they're all car games. But now
Mhm.
when it comes to a first person or third person video game and they added a car to it, you'd be like, oh, this is so clunky. It turns too quick or something like that. So you're gonna be
Yeah.
really picky on cars. There's no room for cars. Give me a canoe. Just give me a canoe. If you want to put Snake on the vehicle, give me a canoe. But but
Okay.
but vehicles, nah, leave those out. Leave those out.
All
Yeah.
right, that's cool. So then the other line of that statement I want to go over was seamless user experience. Like in my mind, that kind of throws
Seamless.
out one thing. And that's going to be the whole thing with PS5 of like that was like that 3D sound or whatever it was, that whole thing of like, oh, you can sit in one spot in the room and it's regardless of whatever sound system you have, you're gonna you can hear from all over the place. Supposedly
if
the
if
PS5 was gonna do it.
if that statement is that I'm gonna literally be sitting, headphones, either Bose surround system or anything like that, and if I'm literally feeling like if I'm in the rainforest, my I will tip my hat to them saying that they experienced that for me, and I will totally play that game just because I will feel like if I sleep with a sound machine, rainforest. If it beats that, if it beats it with that sound machine for my child, then I will totally play it constantly with with my doors wide open, cold, and thinking that I'm in the forest. It
Damn,
better be that
that's
way.
nice. I think my sound machine just does fucking white noise. It's like, oh god,
White noise. See, no, no,
god,
no.
really,
I don't
really,
want the grudge. I don't want the grudge coming at me.
dude. That's what I'm
I
worried
want
about,
life.
dude.
I
That's what I'm
want,
worried about. You
wildlife
you
to have
you see so many
it.
ghost hunting shows, and you all hear shh.
I know.
I
I'm
just moved
telling you.
in.
I'm
I just
telling
moved in, dog. Just
you.
moved
Yeah,
in.
I'm telling you.
But
But yeah, but
um,
if that statement does require in those areas, sure. I'll play I'll put my headphones on, and I'm sure like they'll have like the clean and crisp, like if I'm around, like the whole 360, like view
mm.
for like the whole listening. I'm totally in, totally in.
now the other thing that kind of popped in my mind when I heard of that was what was it? Do you remember? I think it was the on your cell phone. It was like how for a while like all those like city building games were really big. Where like they
Yeah.
had the Simpsons one. We had to rebuild fucking Springfield, and you had like that singing monsters. We have to build up little islands and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
South Park did one, and if you didn't play for like a certain amount of time, the game would
Mm-hmm.
literally send you texts as the characters. So
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
next thing you know, you're getting a text from Eric Cartman, talking shit because you're not playing the game. Hey, why aren't you
Mm-hmm.
doing this? Stop working, stop being at work and come play the game. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of popped in my head, and I thought like, oh, that'd be kind of cool, dude. Like you're at work, and next thing you know, your phone goes off, and it's a fucking codec from like Snake or Ocelot. Like how cool would that be? Like they kind of figure out to do some kind of like ARG style gameplay into the
Mm-hmm.
real world, like real, like truly seamless, like
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
maybe something as simple as like VR. Like okay, you put the VR, next thing you know,
Mm-hmm.
you are Snake.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. Like, I think even with Grand Theft Auto, like the newest one, I think they had an app. They had an app that pretty much like mirrors image on the phone from the video game. And I think like I don't know if you were able to purchase vehicles on it because it would be it had to be in sync, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it just gave you like like the catalog for
Mm-hmm.
each vehicle and stuff like that, and and like so forth. I would think that I wouldn't know. Like, I would say, like, they will be like a reminder, almost like when you purchase something, like on the PlayStation, it gives you, oh, well, thanks for your purchase. Like that'd be
Yeah.
really cool if you're doing the in game, and then like yeah, like it would be like a Kodak, be like like Campbell or anybody else, from like if they do, yeah, like remake all these other games on it, then you
Uh,
have an option to like even like talk to them. They could bust it, like the AI on that, like
yeah.
give me something more like interactive, but not creepy,
Mm.
but something to actually get me like to actually make me that I am feeling like Big Boss. I am feeling like Snake.
uh,
Like something that would kind of keep me more intrigued to it.
it's gonna be the whole Psycho Mantis thing again, dude. Oh,
Oh, dude.
you like playing Super Mario Sunshine, but now it's gonna be like, oh, I see you spend a lot of
Yeah.
time on Pornhub. Like,
you be
like,
like you be
gotta
like
call me out, dog.
you'd be like charge your phone. I'll make it vibrate. Like, you know what I'm
Oh my
saying? So like
gosh.
so like something like that though. But dude, yeah, but like imagine like a whole VR of just like being like Snake or being like like Call of Duty or something like that. Like
Mm,
something like these major platforms that will introduce VR. I haven't gone one myself, is because
I
there's
still
nothing that I'm
haven't.
like that, like something that I haven't like, oh my God, I need to get one now. I mean,
Yeah.
like I just seen like the funny videos, people like slamming their face on their walls or breaking their TVs. Like they thought that the Wii, when they first came out, like those nunchucks were gonna be damaged, which
Yeah.
well, I mean, which they did, but those VR like videos are so much worse than those
Yeah.
Wii
Just
commercials, or
people
I mean
eating
like the
shit.
Wii.
Ridiculous. So okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
got my timer up here for the Zoom thing. So we actually got the Zoom thing working. We got about 7.5 minutes left. So
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this.
let's quickly run through the last half of that fucking statement that we were looking at. So this one we can kind of just brush through real quick.
Hmm.
Again, it's kind of a big statement here. Well, not necessarily, but so after all that stuff, seamless user experience, simultaneously we will deliver the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection series, the most complete compilation that celebrates the 35th anniversary of the series. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection allows fans to play the games as they were as first released on the latest platforms. So, real quick off the top of your head, what do you think that means? To me, it sounds pretty obvious.
Just pretty obvious, plain. Just
Mhm,
they're just gonna pop up a DLC for part one, part two, and part three. Like
mhm.
nothing enhanced, nothing crazy. They're just your 8-bit,
Yeah,
Solid
and
Snake
to
to your standard one.
me that sounds straight port. No remake, no remaster, straight port. This is gonna be the fucking 10th time you buy this game, buy it. Okay, fuck it, I'll
Yeah,
buy it.
yeah.
You know,
The only thing that I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some information out there. Why
mm.
didn't that include four?
It's too big, dude. They got all those damn loading times. So now that's the thing. So it's Master Collection Volume One.
Oh, that's right, the volume
So
one. I saw
Volume
that.
One.
I saw
So
that.
there
I
might be
saw that. I
Volume
saw that.
Two that has Metal Gear 4 and then probably hopefully all the PSP games because the
The
PSP games don't
PSP is
get too
yeah
much love.
for Peace Walker,
Peace
and then
Walker,
and
Acid 2, bunch of
yeah,
stuff.
that'll be dope. That'll be the first time for even for Acid and for Acid 2 because I actually have those for the PSP.
Mm,
It's more of a card game, obviously, it's a card game,
yeah.
and you kind of it's like chess.
Mm,
That'll be dope, dude.
that'd be cool.
I think I'll finally play it, again,
Mm,
like if it's actually, like a home console instead of like a handheld, for sure.
yeah. So
For
hopefully something
sure.
to look forward to. And since we're talking about PS handhelds, bonus question, 5 minutes left. Project Q's finally been unveiled. It straight up looks like a fucking a dual sense controller got cut in half and put a screen in the middle. So technically, it's not going to be like a handheld, like say the Switch or anything like that, but it's going to be so you can actually play your PS5 games instead of on the TV, play it on your screen on your handheld. So that way, it's gonna be streaming. It's not gonna be streaming like the Steam Deck or anything. But I guess you can think of it like the Wii U. You can pop the game into their PS5 and then you're gonna
That's
stream
pretty
it to your
much it.
console. That's what I was thinking, straight up.
No, I don't want
Yeah,
it. I
it's
don't
gonna be
want it
bad.
because it gives me. It's like the Switch. I mean, the Switch is a little bit different because you could dock it and then you're pretty much putting it on your big screen or you could put it on your
Mm,
small screen. But I know I can get the like say now that we're parents, say our daughters want to watch TV but we want to play Snake Eater, so we put it in our hands. I
mm,
mean, yes and no, but it's still not giving me the full convince that I can do two in one. Like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So I'd rather just take my time, play it on the big screen, and then call it a day. I'm not sure if I'm old fashioned or we are,
mm,
but portable is good, but to an extent that give me other games that is portable for I could play the
yeah.
portable console.
And that's the thing. This is not necessarily portable. It's just handheld. You know,
Yeah, see, so
Switch you can take fucking wherever the hell you want, come back
yeah,
and pop it
yeah,
back into the
yeah,
TV. You're not
yeah,
gonna be able to do with this. So
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
for me, I'm gonna give it a thumbs down off the bat.
yeah, same. I'm
Yeah.
with you on that one. I'm
Cool.
with you on that
So
one.
that's our first episode back in 2 years. I hope you guys were
2 years
nice
and
and
some
informed.
change.
Ooh, so we're gonna try to
Yeah.
plan something soon. Maybe get together, do like an actual same location, same camera thing. I don't know. I gotta dust off my GoPro and see if it still works. So
Yeah,
we'll
GoPro?
plan
Does it still
something.
run?
Yeah,
Does
GoPro
it
Hero 5, dude.
I
Hero
don't even know
5.
what.
I think now it's like the Hero 20 or some shit like that, but whatever,
Híjole.
man.
It's like
So
the Android. It's like the Pixel, whatever, like the Android 22, and yeah, oh no,
mm,
like the Galaxy, whatever. And I was like, damn, that's a lot of phones, man. That's a
yeah.
lot of phones.
So
Yeah, yeah.
anything last minute you want to pitch before we take off here?
No, I mean this is it. I mean we had to do this
Mhm.
like how you said because it was Metal Gear Solid. I mean it's something that came from our childhood. That's how I met this guy pretty
Yeah.
much, and how I met other people. How we still being in relationships. Dr. Snake, come on,
Mm,
that's pretty much
pretty
it. My
much.
actual username, my PlayStation is Snake 20. That's my, a gamer tag. So we bleed and we smell, and I mean, when I smell, that's pretty dirty. But yeah, Metal Gear is pretty much
Yeah,
our history, our love, everything else from that. So we had to do this video for you guys.
yeah. I still say Shadow Colossus is better, but whatever. Okay.
I mean, it's good, but
It's
not
a
like
good. It's
MGS
my.
good.
I don't know. I don't know, dog. You only needed one remake. Two
Oh,
two technically.
that's it.
Two
That's it.
technically, but oh
Yeah.
my God. Well, all right, guys. That's another episode in the books. I really hope this works out because Zoom was being a pain in my ass. Um, as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share the
Hmm.
video. We're gonna leave
Please,
all the stuff in the
please.
comments, all our socials. Dr.
Yep.
Snake at the Senzu being plugged. You got me, the PokeTrooper, and you have our page as well, Empire of Nerd Pod. So go ahead, give us a follow on all those things. Reach out, give us topics to talk about, and eventually, maybe hopefully not in another 2 years, we'll put another video out. So there
That's
you
right.
go, guys. As always, stay safe, be cool, much love. Smell you later, nerds.
Peace.